Hi, it's Angie. Welcome. Welcome. So this is the spin-off to Enjoy the Psychic Medium. My channel name will change in T-14 days. So this channel name is going to be called Angie's Mysticism. So welcome here. Thank you to a wonderful subscriber for being here. So I am still on TikTok as well. So I've resumed my content. Okay, now Dolores Cannon kind of gave me a message this morning, and the message was airplane children. I think I'm going to call this video Airplane Children. Hi to my followers, hi to my subscribers. Now, because on the airplane you have to put the do not disturb sign on, fasten your seatbelts and put that do not disturb sign on your cell phone. Now, from what I've seen in the last couple of days, that's kind of where this world is heading, probably already there. And for those that are suffering narcissistic abuse, you're going to need help, because the attention span is probably down to minute, whatever it is. And lyrics are a wonderful way to receive messages from those that have passed on. So the lyrics also that I woke up to were from Joe Cocker. Try with a little help from my friends. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you get up? Would you get up and turn around and walk out on me? I may have butchered those lyrics, but what a wonderful person in spirit. So what would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you walk out on me? Now, one of my major clairvoyant or clairaudient is a huge part of my mysticism. Now, as well, I'm going to talk about someone in my card that I was reminded of, and this particular person is called Lojo. Keep in mind, I was the center. I was like the playing dodge the ball for over 55 years. But this particular person I had a dream of last night, or dreams. Remember, dreams are messages. I may also call this abuse. Abuse raises your awareness. So it's either going to be airplane children in one video, and abuse raises your awareness. But back to Lojo, so I'm going to start the shuffle here. Back to Lojo, this particular character, I created cards. It was all, you do kind of return to your childhood, because I loved creating paper dolls. I never had a real doll, but I loved paper dolls. I used to dress up, cutouts, and so it's kind of like something similar. But Lojo was someone that I was attached to for a very, very long time. What I thought was a friend, like, the ride or die. But in these types of situations, they're frenemies and you may not know it. So, and also I'm reminded of how I was triangulated in a vicious way. When you kind of, this may happen to you, but when you kind of start dissecting some of the friendships that you had, or I say that loosely, these types of people are not who they present themselves to be. Lojo had a drinking problem from a very young age. I didn't recognize it. Lojo was a thief at a very young age. I didn't recognize it. Now, but back to one of the most difficult times in my life, I got triangulated, and it was when she was diagnosed with a deadly form of cancer. Cancer is not the problem. I assumed, that's the ass out of you and me. I just assumed that when you were friends for 40 years, I would have been part of her cancer journey. But it was one of the most difficult times in my life. But for some reason, I'm out here talking about Lojo. I don't know why I hear the word Rene Russo. I don't know if somebody played in some type of game or movie out there, but I have to say that. Now, so let's just give you a friendly reminder that if you are raised by a narcissistic mother, abuse will raise your awareness, okay? And here I am. So this is really interesting because this is the bride at every funeral or the corpse at every wedding. If you get married and you have that type of person coming to your wedding, it was like pulling teeth to get this person to be my maid of honor, okay? It was like, I can't even begin to explain to you how difficult it was, but I also have to explain to you how difficult it was when I finally had to accept all of this. Acceptance is part of the healing journey. So this is the bride at every funeral or the corpse at your wedding, okay? They're kind of like miserable, miserable people. And they keep a lot of secrets, okay? They hold secrets. Secrets are how they operate. These are literally your frenemies. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you get up and walk out on me? It's you are walking a line. When you have a psychopath, I'm talking specifically about the psychopath, you will walk that line. You will have the disease to please, and if you do, you will do things that you never thought you would have ever done to please that person, to stay in that realm. Very, very, very unhealthy. I'm just grateful I got out of it, and it took me a lot of comprehension to understand what I was in. These are very, very dangerous people. That's kind of like the fear, frustration, and anxiety. Okay, so because they do not have any maternal instincts, Lojo, I recall once upon a time, she wanted to get rid of her baby. And I was the one that convinced her to not get rid of her baby. But in some instances, this is the chip off the old block, okay? They do not have maternal instincts whatsoever. All of their children, everybody in a psychopath's life or a narcissist's life is objectified, particularly the psychopath. The psychopath is determined to humiliate you, to publicly humiliate you, to come across like you're the best friend, you know, maybe the one that gives you a bracelet, but you're going to see something. Now I'm taking one from my guardian angel deck. Airplane children, that's what it's all about. You are, they're facing the do not disturb. That's what it's like. Now, keep in mind, okay, so I do a video, and there's this one particular YouTuber out there that I saw that this particular person reminded his wife or his friends or his family, do not disturb me when I'm doing a live. Okay, I don't do lives yet, but if I do get a phone call in from my son, I will immediately shut off this camera and I won't come back on. So that's why it'll just drop off. I'm not going to drop the call from my son ever, okay? That is more important to me than putting the do not disturb on. That's what is coming. That is what is happening. That's what I've seen out there so far. Because their addiction to attention is more important in some instances than the attention to the child. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you turn around and walk out on me? Somebody's going to need help here. I don't know. So we have Archangel Sandalphon. This is the Archangel that takes your prayers to heaven. People need to start perhaps understanding what mysticism is, how your guardian angels and spirit guides are always there for you. You have to ask. So, and lyrics is a profound way to get messages. So I'm going to do round 2. So, I keep wanting to say sew a needle pulling thread. I know what that means. But that is if you were raised by a narcissistic mother, Machiavellian type, that needle, they're sewing. It's all kind of in a pattern. Narcissists, it's easier for me to say narcissists or psychopaths. Maybe it's psychopaths. They work in a pattern, okay? You're just one of many. And they're going to accuse you of doing things that you never did. They have the accusatory nature. Because that defense, I'm just doing a quick little shuffle here. That defense, they're built on its a defense, defend, yeah. Okay, so let's take one here. Okay, so, you know, in some instances, they get themselves into a can of weenies. They do. They'll get into a trap. In some instances, they lose a lot of their jobs. They're looking, in some instances, you can be their retirement plan. This is the cordon bleu chef out there. But if it's your birthday, happy birthday. They triangulate you with your birthday. They triangulate you with other friends. In some instances, you get to know they're going to get to know your friends, but you're not allowed to get to know their friends. And in a lot of instances, you won't recognize the friends that they have. Okay? So there's different levels, different devils, but different levels of who, these are the cherry pickers. They have just a wide variety of people to pick from. They have a incredible group that they pick and choose from. Okay, so, oh, one just flipped out here. Okay, so this is all about Eve here. This is really the competition you are in. You will be in a competition that you don't even know that you're in a competition, okay? They pick on you. They talk about you behind your back. This reminds me, that is a show out there all about Eve. That is something with hereditary here. I keep hearing the word hereditary. Something about that. Okay, so I'm taking another one here from the Guardian Angel deck. It's almost like I want it cheaper. Being around a narcissist or a psychopath is the most frustrating relationship you will ever encounter, ever. So you have to grow your own pair. I grew my own pair, and that feels like this is a mushroom melt out there. But how do I want to explain this? Yeah, these are the teetotalers out there as well. So I think I'm just going to stop this video right there and say hi to my subscribers here. And I'm going to do another video. So stay tuned. See you soon. It's all done. Enjoy.